Dr. Robert Birgeneau has been with UC Berkeley through some drastic changes during his 8 years as chancellor. From a campus facelift, to student protests, to police and student violence, the man at the university's helm has seen it all.
During my time as chancellor, the state funding has gone from 30% to 10% of our budget. It certainly wasn't clear in the middle of this that we would be able to maintain our public character.
Now Chancellor Birgeneau is stepping down from his post. He believes the previously uncertain financial atmosphere in Berkeley is finally stabilizing.
I thought since now the university situation has come to at least a quasi-equilibrium, it's a good time to hand over leadership of Berkeley to the next person.
This current state of the university is, in large part, due to the chancellor.
In terms of private fundraising, we've come quite close to reaching that ultimate goal of $3 billion. And that includes, so far we've raised more than $300 million in scholarships for students.
But the former physics professor turned chancellor has also faced several challenges during his time here at Berkeley, just one of which is the steadily rising tuition costs for students.
Education must be free!
Since Birgeneau arrived at Berkeley in 2004, the cost of in-state tuition has more than doubled, and students have expressed their dissatisfaction.
Every single year when there's been a tuition increase, we at Berkeley, privately and not publicly, have recommended smaller fee increases than actually occurred. And so on the one hand, I think it's unfortunate that tuition has gone up. On the other hand, the reality is if we want to have a quality education, then it's been necessary.
The administration has taken steps to ease this inflating cost burden. The chancellor has newly innovated financial aid plans, increasing accessibility for lower and middle-income Californians.
So we've actually decreased the costs for low-income students. Connected with that, we now have a breakthrough in extending financial aid into the middle class.
But recent problems haven't been limited to tuition costs alone. Some problems, like recent police-student violence, the chancellor was hesitant to comment on.
In terms of some of the events that have happened here at Cal while you've been chancellor and some of the violence that has happened here, could you give a comment on that and just how your office has seen that happening and the reasons for it?
No, is the answer. I think I don't want to comment on camera on that because of there's a lawsuit going on, right? And so.
But other problems with staff layoffs have also marked Birgeneau's chancellorship.
So if you said, how much money has the state cut? It turns out they've cut an amount equal to 4,000 staff jobs. So we had done nothing. We would have had to have laid off 4,000 staff. So in fact, we've saved the jobs of well over 3,500 staff. So of course we regret the layoffs, but they're a very small fraction of what would have happened if we didn't proceed so aggressively.
At the same time, Birgeneau also expressed disappointment with the current salaries of his staff and faculty.
Salaries for both our staff and our faculty are significantly less than we think we ought to be paying for people of this caliber. Fortunately, we've done very well in faculty retention, but now we're seeing real challenges with retaining our very best staff because our salaries are just not competitive.
Now, by staff, do you mean senior administrative staff or?
No,
okay.
Staff at all levels.
And in terms of the senior administrative staff salary levels, how would you evaluate that over the few years?
They're no longer competitive. So senior staff have not had salary increases for the last 4 or 5 years, and we're not competitive anymore.
Birgeneau is expecting to return to the classroom as a Berkeley physics professor after December of 2012. The search for his successor begins this May 4th with an advisory committee meeting. And while the current chancellor isn't allowed to give any input for the selection, Birgeneau has a few words of advice.
So yes, I would say for the next chancellor, one of the things that is most important is you must have a clear vision of what Berkeley is and what you want to accomplish for it, because you will be subject to forces coming from all sides.
For CalTV in Berkeley, Reena Flores.